Hello everyone. In this video I want to show off and just have a little chat about this iMac G4 that I am the proud owner of. This is a 20-inch iMac G4, 1.25 gigahertz, and it's actually in really good shape. It's not without issue, but it is, well, in good shape. And I don't really have a plan for what I want to say in this video. I'm just gonna kind of show it off, start it up, show whatever comes to mind, so be prepared for a lot of rambling. With a little bit of backstory about how I acquired it. I work at an e-waste recycling and refurbishment place, and I'm the Apple technician there, and this came across my desk, and I immediately wanted it very, very much because it's in great shape, and I had actually never seen a 20-inch iMac G4 up until then. You can take a little look at it. I don't know how well it'll come across on camera because I got weird lighting down here, but I mean, it's in great shape. There is not, let's see if I can get the white balance to cooperate here. No yellowing to speak of, very minimal scuffs and scratches, and the only kind of things that make it not perfect, let's see if we can even find them. There's this scuff on the screen here, and there's a little tiny scuff on the screen there. When the screen is on, not noticeable at all, so I'm really not concerned about it. It's just something that happened at some point in this thing's past. Before we go ahead and power it up and I talk a little bit about that, let's look at this whole setup. I actually got this as well, but there's a story behind that, which is a little bit of a bummer. So, first of all, the keyboard. This was a new old stock, or rather, opened but never removed from the packaging and then left in a box kind of deal. This came into work and it was still in the original crinkly cellophane wrapping. Had never been taken out, never been used. All the keys are just about as white as you can imagine. I mean, I thought this iMac was white, but comparing the two, again, sorry for bad lighting here, but this is so bright white. I have kept the original kind of packaging on there, and I'm pretty sure this label here is from the school. So the cellophane was opened and it had that sticker on the bottom, which is just on the bottom of this plastic. So I guess they maybe inventoried it and then never used it. That's my best guess. But super pleased to have that. This mouse is, by the way, this is not the keyboard that came with the iMac G4. It would have been the Apple Pro keyboard, which looks more like a graphite keyboard that you might have found with a graphite iMac G3, for example, with the ports on the side. But, you know, I'm not going for 100% perfect setup here. I just didn't think I'd ever see another one of these in such good condition, and it fits the setup anyway. So yes, but this mouse, I don't know if this is the mouse that originally came with it, with the iMac G4, I should say, but it's in very good shape. It has a couple scuffs and scratches, but it works, and it's clear, and it's not yellow. Super pleased to have found that. The iSight hiding over here in the corner, I actually have the mount, you can kind of see it hiding back there, for the G4, and it just sticks, I think, sticks right up here, and the camera sticks up off the top and points at you. I'm a bit not really wanting to attach it that way, just because I don't want to be committed to having the iSight up there, I guess. If I ever wanted to remove that iSight, there would be adhesive, and then the adhesive would stick to the iMac, and I don't know, I don't want to deal with it. And let's be honest, I'm never really going to use the iSight anyway. It's more of just a prop for this setup. So I've got another stand here that I think either went with the eMac or iMac G3, or maybe it was only intended to be on the desk. I don't really know. But I've got it set up on the desk here and connected to the iMac, and it does work perfectly fine. These speakers, I found these on eBay. I actually got a really good deal. I think I paid $30 or $25. They're not perfect, but they're a lot better than were described in the listing. There is no cracking, no yellowing, no major amount of scratching on the outside. There is quite a bit of scratching on these speaker cones, probably from where it was cleaned, but honestly, I'm pretty sure that would have happened the first time you cleaned it anyway, so, you know, it is what it is. But the nice thing about it is that these speaker surrounds, they are not at all yellowed, they are not cracked. They're just really good examples of some Apple speakers that went with the G4. I think they're called the Apple Pro speakers. I'm not 100% sure on that. But they work and they sound great, and I'm super pleased to have found those as well. Also, something I feel like I keep saying this, super pleased to have found, is this iPod. Now, this iPod is not quite the same vintage. It's pretty similar, but not quite the same as the iMac G4, but it's white, and it works perfectly fine. It's got a good battery, got a good backlight, got a good hard drive. And what's interesting about this one, it's actually, I guess I gotta remove that sticker, but it's actually an HP iPod. These are not all that common. I wouldn't say they're rare, but whoops, now the hard drive's probably bad. They're not really rare, but definitely kind of uncommon and a cool thing to have. I haven't actually played music through it yet, so I don't know what would be wrong with it, but it probably works. We'll just leave it at that. Something that doesn't work, unfortunately, and I'll try to keep this story short, is this iSub. So I've owned this iSub for probably 5 years. I actually own 2 of them, and the original one had some issues with the board, but I didn't know that at the time. I thought it was the power adapter. So I cut the brick off the power adapter, used the connector that goes into the back of the iSub on a different power adapter, but that power adapter had some weird interference issues and never quite sounded right. It would always squeal. So last week I went out, bought a power adapter for this thing. It was the right voltage, right connection, advertised as one for the iSub. Plugged it in, light went on, alright. Went to go plug in the USB to the iMac, and maybe we'll see this on camera, but it arced. You can see it right there on the corner. It made a big old arc. More of an arc than should ever come from a USB port. And I was, first of all, afraid that I just ruined the logic board on the iMac. Fortunately, the logic board and the USB both work. That's all I can really ask for. I am, screw the iSub. I want the iMac to work. But the iSub doesn't seem to work anymore. And I'm a bit bummed about that. If I find another adapter that is known to be working, I will definitely revisit this iSub and try to repair it, but for the time being, I think it might just be a lost cause. Which sucks, because it really made the speakers sound really, really good. Like this is what I'm currently using as a jukebox down here when I'm doing other things. And it made the sound, it made the music coming out of here sound very, very good. What else do we have? Oh, well, I guess I should talk about specs, and I'll do that as soon as it turns on here. Wow, that refresh rate is not cooperating with the camera. I'll plug my light here if that'll help. Not really. It's kind of struggling a little bit. That's weird. Oh, there. It seems to have worked itself out. So this is, of course, because it's a 20-inch, a 1.25 gigahertz iMac G4. It's running 10.4 Tiger because I just think Tiger runs the best on these older Macs. And there's the specs right there, 1.25. It's got, coincidentally, 1.25 gigs of RAM. I do have another 1 gig stick. It's a SODIMM that goes in the bottom. At work right now, I just forgot to bring it home. So within the next week or so, this will be up to its maximum of 2 gigs of RAM. And I did something that I wouldn't typically do on an old Mac if I didn't need to, but I did it anyway. Again, I apologize for this flickering. That's not very good looking, is it? Turn back? No? Alright. So I installed an SSD in here. And as I just mentioned, I'm not usually a fan of doing this if I can avoid it, but it felt right to do in this case because I am maxing out the best of the iMac G4 all of the models, the fastest, the biggest, and I just wanted to kind of go all out. And I gotta say, even though it's running over, what, probably an ATA 100 bus, maybe, or an Ultra ATA, I don't recall exactly what the nomenclature is for that. Nomenclature's not the right word. I don't know. Despite that, just having an SSD in here makes this extremely fast. I don't know exactly how to demonstrate to you on camera how quick this thing is, but it is very, very quick and snappy for what it is, of course. So yeah, this is a very good example of an iMac G4. I'm super pleased to have it. The screen is also very, very bright. I usually keep it down a couple notches, and that is more than sufficient for brightness. So yeah, there's the iMac G4. Currently, as I said, I'm using it mostly as a jukebox at the moment, but I also have a ton of games installed on here. We'll play some Roller Coaster Tycoon 3. Listen to that Summer Air soundtrack. And it runs most games pretty well, given the specs. The specs of this thing aren't really great for gaming, but it'll run most things at an acceptable frame rate. Crank this thing up. This game has some of the best menu and whatever zoom out music of any game. It is amazing. Of course, that probably didn't come across amazing on camera, but it does sound very, very good. So yeah, that's a quick look at my iMac G4. I don't really know what else to say about it. If there's anything you guys want to see me do with this, or just have more of a look at it, do let me know. A couple other things I thought of that I did to this: I replaced the PRAM battery and I put new thermal paste on it as well. So that's a thing I did. Alright, well, we're going on 12.5 minutes here, so I think I'm going to wrap it up. Again, if you have any want to see me do anything with this thing, I'll probably have it around for quite some time. So if you're seeing this video in the future, you know, you want to see me do something on the iMac G4 or with it, let me know. So, thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you in the next video.